For my preterm trip, I chose to do the canoe trip through the Tuck Outdoors program. There were actually 4 different options. There were 2 types of backpacking trips, one a little bit more intense than the other one. The 4-day canoe trip, which I did, and then an intro to camping / canoeing trip, which was also known as glamping. Glamping is glamour camping, and it was for people who wanted to get exposure to the outdoors, and being up here in New Hampshire, you want to do a bit of the outdoor activities, but for people who had never really pitched a tent before, never canoed, never really did too much outdoors activity. So it was a great kind of prep trip for some of those students, especially some of our international students who'd really never been in the woods before. I chose to do a preterm program essentially because one of my friends who'd also done an MBA program said, you have to do it. That's where I met some of my best friends. It's a great way for when you start orientation to have some familiar faces around campus. So I immediately signed up upon her advice, and it ended up being a really phenomenal experience. Being on the Connecticut River in August was just beautiful. I think most importantly, just really forging some really great bonds. You're canoeing with people, you're camping with people, you're cooking over a camp stove and sharing stories, playing games at night around the campfire. So making those connections and relationships was great. Another really great benefit that I maybe hadn't thought about was that there was actually a second-year student that joined us on the trip, him and his partner actually, and they were such a great resource, and they answered a lot of questions that we had about first year and classes and study groups and how to approach things. So I got a lot of great advice that way, and I'm actually really good friends with that couple that joined us. So one of the highlights of my canoe trip was actually the culminating night at Moosalauck Lodge. Moosalauck Lodge is this beautiful structure that has been with Dartmouth for many decades, and it's at the base of Mount Moosalauck. And all the various trips, we'd all been separated for the course of the week. We all came back together and we performed skits about our trip, and there was a live bluegrass band, and we all danced and all ate together and just had so much fun. And then the next day we all hiked up Mount Moosalauck together. So that was a really, really great way to end the trip and just an unforgettable experience.